And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Joe Buck. That is Tim McCarver. And Tim, you know, so much of the story is focused on Curt Schilling, and maybe rightly so. But the guy getting the ball for the Cleveland Indians, trying to get them to the World Series, is a 23-year-old who won 19 games, and he's got to be better tonight than he was in Game 2.
Eric and Kevin were talking about the wildness of Fausto Carmona. And the first thing the pitching coach for the Indians told him today is to use the middle of the plate tonight. Because if you don't use the middle of the plate, this is what happens. Examples in Game 2. When he tries to throw inside, the ball goes farther inside. So if he uses the middle of the plate, the ball would go in the proper place, particularly to the right-handed batter.
Yeah, just throw it down the middle, use the natural movement. On the other side, there's been a lineup change for the Boston Red Sox. A huge ovation when they announced that Jacoby Ellsbury would be in the lineup tonight for Terry Francona. And on top of that, they turned to the right-hander, Curt Schilling. And Kurt's got to be that guy that gives Beckett some help, right?
Yeah, we have talked about Kevin Youkilis, David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez, and Mike Lowell needing help offensively. Well, Josh Beckett needs help from a pitching standpoint. The Red Sox have won 2 games, and Beckett's won both of them.
Let's hear the Cleveland Indians starting lineup from their Game 4 starter, Paul Byrd.
Hey, I'm Paul Byrd of the Cleveland Indians. Tonight we got a great lineup for you. We're starting off with Grady Sizemore, one of the best young players in the game. He makes our team go. Number 2 is Asdrubal Cabrera. He just came up 2 months ago. He's played like he's got 10 years in the big leagues. Number 3, Travis Hafner. He's our own personal wrestler. He does a chest slap like no other. Number 4, we got Victor Martinez. Great, one of the best hitting catchers in the game. He is phenomenal. Number 5, we got Ryan Garco, one of my favorites, the Fred Flintstone lookalike. Number 6, Johnny Peralta. Plays good defense and has really hit the ball well this year. Had a big game off Schilling last time. Number 7, we got Kenny Lofton, the oldest guy on our team. He's the grandpa. He makes sure everybody stays in line. Number 8 is Trot Nixon. The prodigal son returns. And number 9, I'm finishing you off with Casey Blake, who has one of the best beards in the American League. Thanks. Tonight, pitching, we got Fausto Carmona. Great sinker, great power, and fun to be around.
Send everybody else home. The auditions are over. Right. He gets the job.
Right.
As you look at the numbers for Curt Schilling this postseason, we'll give you his scouting report, and he was not sharp in the Game 2 start against the Indians.
But he was in the Game 3 start against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. That's when he found his splitter early in the game, about the 2nd, 3rd inning. He walks almost no one, only 23 walks during the season. And is this his last elimination game? He hopes not.
He's been unbeatable in those situations. Here we go. Upstairs, ball 1. It's Sizemore, Asdrubal Cabrera, and Travis Hafner, the DH. Ripped down the right field line into the corner. It is a foul ball. Home run distance, but pulled a little foul by Grady Sizemore, who homered off Curt Schilling in Game 2. And we're going to get an argument from Eric Wedge. And I'm sure from his vantage point, which is a little skewed, not really right down the line, he certainly does not have as good a look at it as the right field umpire Gary Cederstrom, who made the call. He's saying the ball went maybe over the foul pole. Let's take another look.
I think it did. I think the guy who had the best view of it was Grady Sizemore. And Sizemore, coming back to home plate, he did not argue. He's going down the first base line, and he has the same view that right field umpire Gary Cederstrom had. So Eric Wedge out to argue, but I thought that ball was foul. But you're right, Joe. It did go over the screen, over this part of the screen, and cleared that. But it was very close.
I say the vantage point of Eric Wedge is skewed. They're way down the third baseline, almost even with a third base bag. And from that angle, a little more down the line, it looked to be foul.
Right.
Here's a 1-2 now to Grady Sizemore. 2-2.
Now Schilling's got to get that pitch right there. That pitch just off the plate. But Schilling needs that extra half inch or so from home plate umpire Dana DeMuth. Splitter.
And Sizemore takes it for ball 3. Grady Sizemore trying to jumpstart this night for the Indians. Just 5 out of 20 in this ALCS, and his only RBI was the home run he hit off Schilling in game 2.
Shakes off the fastball away. Veritek putting the 1 down and then going toward his left leg. He wanted the fastball away. Schilling shook it off. Now he comes back with it.
Lugo to his left. It hit the mound. 1 away. For Kurt, he has not allowed more than 2 earned runs. Just 3 times in the 17 postseason starts. Here is with 1 out as Drupal Cabrera strike 1. So a 9-2 career postseason record. A career postseason ERA of 2.23, and he's allowed more than 2 earned runs just 3 times in 17 tries during the postseason. A no decision in that game 2 start. An 11-inning, 5-hour, 14-minute game. It was won by Cleveland. 0-1 pitch. Pedroia. 2 out. Add to that these numbers. For Curt Schilling in his postseason career at home, he's made 9 starts wherever that home has been. Whether it's been here with Boston or it's been with Philadelphia or certainly Arizona. 5-0 and an ERA just over 1.5. But this is a different Curt Schilling. This is not the Curt Schilling from 2004.
No.
This is not the bloody sock Curt Schilling. This is a guy whose velocity has diminished. And he has had to reinvent himself this season as a different type pitcher. An 88-mile-an-hour fastball here in the first inning. Nothing in 1 on Hafner.
Hafner thought it was outside. A breaking ball from Curt Schilling. A rare breaking ball. It looked low.
Hi, I'm Julio Lugo, and I'm going to give you today's starting lineup. Hitting first, playing second base, Dustin Pedroia. Hitting second, Kevin Youkilis, first base. Hitting third, Davey Ortiz, DH. Hitting fourth, left fielder Manny Ramirez. Hitting fifth, Mike Lowe, playing third base. Hitting sixth, J.D. Drew, right field. Hitting seventh, Jason Veritek, catching. Hitting eighth, Jacoby Ellsbury, center field. Shortstop, Julio Lugo. Pitching, Curt Schilling. Adios, amigos.
Adios, Julio. Thank you, Julio Lugo, for the starting lineup tonight for Boston. And here is the right-hander, Fausto Carmona. dominant in Game 2 of the division series against the Yankees, and in 4+ walked 5 against the Red Sox in Game 2 ALCS. Ball 1 inside.
And Indians fans are hopeful that you don't say that a lot tonight, because if you do, it's going to be a tough going for Carmona.
Right down the middle, 96 miles per hour, strike 1. Pedroia probably up there taking a strike, with Euclid to follow, and then David Ortiz. Late with that swing, 96 again. It's 1-2. Again, the story with Carmona. Tried to be too fine, in the Indians' words, in Game 2. Aim for the middle of the plate and let the natural movement take over. He's that good. Up the middle to his right. Cabrera with a bare hand, but still not in time. Wow, what a play, but it's an infield hit for Dustin Pedroia.
Remarkable play by Cabrera, who barehands the ball around his right knee and throws late to first base. So Carmona made a tough pitch on Pedroia. Cabrera made a great play, but Dustin has an infield hit.
Another glimpse at just how good Asdrubal Cabrera is, in the words of Paul Bird when he gave the lineups like a 10-year vet. That's how he's played this October. Still learning second base. Here's Euclid, and there's ball 1. Kevin got the scoring started 2 nights ago in Game 5. Went deep off CC Sabathia. The game that the Red Sox eventually won behind Josh Beckett, 7-1. 2-0. And on a team filled with patient hitters, Kevin Euclid is the most patient. Inside corner, 2-1.
Good guy to send the runner against. 32 double play balls thrown by Carmona this year. In order to stay out of the double play, you send Pedroia. 2-1, an ideal count to do it.
Not running, and a good pitch that ties up Euclid's 2-2.
Euclid's going out of the strike zone to swing at this sinker off the plate. He knew it.
Kevin has labeled himself a handsy hitter. They're loose hands, quick hands. Left side in the hole. Peralta to second. Safe. Danley was about to call Pedroia out until Asdrubal Cabrera could not hang on to that throw.
Funny, Cabrera made the catch with his bare hand and dropped it on the next play with his glove hand. I think it was safe anyway.
I did too, but yeah, when you watch Kerwin Danley, he's got his arm up like he's about to give it the "you're out," and then when the ball trickled away, the safe call, and it's 2 on with nobody out. It's a base hit for Euclid. And here's David Ortiz. He does not go quietly.
A terrifying clutch hitter.
In Ortiz's career, he has hit .442 with runners in scoring position in the postseason. 2-0.
Joe, in the division series, Victor Martinez with the runner on at second base was using the second sign. The Indians are still using the second sign. The sign was 4, 1 to the left leg, and sure enough, Ortiz got the sinker. Easy to catch right there. Another fastball.
And another one outside. Here's the bigger problem for Carmona. He didn't do it in game 2, and he hasn't done it in 3 pitches against Ortiz. He's not keeping left-handed hitters honest at all coming inside. Everything is running away from left-handed batters. And for Ortiz, he loves to go the other way with power against the Green Monster.
Yeah, you can't do that when you fall behind. You can't pitch left-handed hitters inside from 1-0, 2-0, and 3-0 counts.
3-1. Eric Wedge, Carl Willis talk about the arm side for Carmona. That's where his pitches end up. Not a whole lot so far in these 2 starts yet against the Red Sox. Away from the arm side in the left-handed batter's box area. 3 balls and a strike, 2 on, nobody out. Outside and on the corner, full count.
I am shocked that Ortiz was taking. He was taking all the way. Watch. Can't believe it. The pitch was outside, but Ortiz taking all the way. And the Indians get the call.
That'll load him up.
Well, the scouting report on Fausto Carmona: throw the ball in the middle of the plate. As you can see, he has not done that. He's very tough to lift. 2 ground balls in this inning, but both were base hits. His double plays a weapon, and he needs that weapon now.
And he is facing as dangerous a hitter as you can find anywhere. A .440 average this postseason, 12 RBIs, and another bases loaded situation for Manny Ramirez. Strike 1.
Manny Ramirez with 20 Grand Slam home runs. 20.
Gehrig with the most with 23. For Manny Ramirez, this is the 4th time he has been up with the bases loaded. Previous 3, he has drawn a walk, even when he's fallen behind 0-2. As it is here.
You can see Martinez setting up outside, and actually Carmona missed with that pitch. He really has a difficult time once again going away to right-handers or in on left-handers.
Ramirez is tied an LCS record. He's hit in 15 straight LCS games. 24 career postseason home runs. With movement, down and in, 1-2. One of those bases loaded walks that Ramirez has drawn in this series came against Carmona in game 2.
Major league average with an 0-2 count, 180. Not with this guy, unafraid.
So good at spoiling a pitcher's pitch and either taking deliveries just out of the strike zone or drilling a mistake. Grew up in the Indians organization and right now trying to come up with a big first inning hit to back Kurt Schilling and give the Red Sox a first inning lead.
How in the world can he continue to lay off those pitches just off the plate? It's phenomenal. Talk to major league hitters and they'll tell you I'm hacking at a pitch like that, but Ramirez takes it.
Stays alive. Already more pitches in the first inning tonight than he threw in the first inning. Hit a long first in game 2. .21 deliveries and there's nobody out. Bases are loaded. And a 2-2 count on Manny Ramirez. Strikeout for Fausto Carmona. One away, bases loaded for Lowell.
So Carmona, after running the count to 0-2, gets Ramirez. It's 0-2. Manny lays off the fastball, fouls one off, a breaking ball, lays off the fastball, fouls another fastball off, and then he gets it with that biting fastball down and in. So Manny took 2 of them, but finally Carmona got him, and you're right, Joe, a big strikeout.
And now Lowell, who led this Boston team in RBIs during the regular season with 120. Double play ball gets the Indians out of trouble. Lowell, little fly ball into right field. Nixon coming on. Tagging and coming halfway is Pedroia, 2 out. And now this inning falls right into the lap of a guy who has not driven in a run in this series, J.D. Drew.
Interesting, you were talking about 21 pitches and no outs in this inning. On the 22nd pitch, he got his first out. On the 23rd pitch, he got his second out. No runs have scored.
So now J.D. Drew, at the end of his first season with Boston, signed a 5-year deal. Finished the regular season hot, but knocked in only 64 runs and hit 11 home runs. Ball one. One ball, one strike on Drew. 97 regularly here in the first inning from Carmona. Remember game 3 in the second inning. The Red Sox loaded the bases with nobody out against Westbrook. Did not score. Bottom of that inning, Kenny Lofton hit a 2-run home run off Daisuke, and the Indians took game 3 4-2. But low, 2-1.
Drew in a situation where he'll get the fastball here. It'll be away, or at least Carmona will try to put it away. Drew can't pull it in order to hit it effectively.
3-1.
Was outside. The 3-1 pitch was right down the pipe. J.D. Drew with a grand slam home run.
And with one swing, he erased an entire season filled with frustration, both for him and these fans here at Fenway.
J.D. saving his biggest cheer for the postseason.
Third grand slam in Boston Red Sox postseason history. And Drew can exhale down there in the dugout as he knocks in his first runs of this ALCS. It's 4-0 Boston here in the first, and Varitek hits.
Talk about how one swing of the bat can pick up your teammates. Manny Ramirez couldn't deliver, nor could Mike Lowell. But J.D. Drew just takes them both off the hook with one swing.
And again, if there's one word that describes what the Red Sox hitters have displayed here in the first inning against Carmona, as they did in game 2, it's patience. Drew was patient. Didn't offer it. A couple of pitches wide, got the count in his favor, 3-1, and went deep. Now it's 3-0 on Varitek.
Yeah, it was 3-2 to David Ortiz, 3-1 to J.D. Drew, and now 3-0 to Jason Varitek. All left-handed batters.
It's a pitching coach with his arms crossed, Carl Willis of the Indians, frustrated with what he's seeing here in the first from Fausto Carmona as he issues his second walk.
Carl Willis telling us before the game, about 4 hours before the game, that the first thing that he was going to tell Carmona today was use the middle of the plate. And he has not done that here in the first inning.
Here's the 24-year-old Jacoby Ellsbury. And when they announced Jacoby's name as part of the starting lineup here before tonight's game, this crowd gave a standing ovation for this kid who they have a lot of high hopes for. And now he's patient, and he is a patient hitter. He works the count. Something he was known for in the minor leagues. He was a guy who had 116 at bats during the regular season, hit .353, and was the minor league defensive player and base runner of the year in the Red Sox system. 1 ball, 1 strike. Coco Crisp is on the bench. Ellsbury of Navajo descent. An electrifying player, and this one is back to Carmona, and the inning is over. Fausto Carmona now in the dugout thinking about a 36-pitch first inning. There's a pitch that was low to Ellsbury. They wanted that call in the dugout for the Indians. Victor Martinez, who's at the plate now, had some words with the home plate umpire DeMuth on his way back to the dugout. Eric Wedge had to come out and intervene, and then Wedge and DeMuth got into it as the Indians show some of their frustration here. Up 3 games to 2, but now trailing 4-0. And here's Martinez coming back to talk to DeMuth about either that pitch or others in the first inning, and Eric Wedge had to stand up for his players.
Hey, I did not see that many close pitches thrown by Fausto Carmona. I didn't think those pitches were close, and the one they complained about I thought was low. But it was interesting that Carl Willis leaning on Fausto Carmona almost like a trainer to a boxer.
It's up to Carl Willis and the guy at the plate, Victor Martinez, to try and guide the 23-year-old Carmona through this start. And a stumble right out of the gate with a 4-run first. Made 2 good pitches, one to get Manny Ramirez. Lowell a shallow fly to right, and then Drew on a 3-1 pitch went deep to center. 2-0 to Martinez is hit down the right field line. This ball, if it's fair, it's gone. It is gone. 4-1. Home run Victor Martinez, and just like that, the Cleveland catcher has made it a 3-run game. And Martinez is taking his time around the bases.
Victor Martinez with 3 hits against Curt Schilling in game 2, 3 for 3, and now a home run to try to bring the Indians back.
A .636 career average against Curt Schilling, and this leading off the second. It's 4-1.
It was Curt Schilling's time to fall behind. Martinez looking for a ball to jerk. Goodness.
Now Garco, nobody on or out. Strike 1. And this one curling around that right field foul pole, the pesky pole here at Fenway Park. And Victor Martinez, who hit 25 during the regular season, has his second of the postseason. 1 ball, 1 strike from Schilling. Garco has hit in 5 straight. He's had a nice postseason swinging the bat. So important for the Indians to come right back and get at least 1. Strike 2 on Garco.
Good cut fastball. I beg your pardon. That was a splitter that went down. Looked like a cutter initially. But Schilling and Varitek trying to bring that splitter along in the early innings. Another split.
And the second strikeout for Curt Schilling.
Well, really diving down, and when Schilling has a good one, the hitters have a tendency to swing over it. As you can see, the split fingers toppling down to get Garko.
So now Peralta, who went deep against Schilling in game 2. He has been impressive just about every game. And for those who don't get a chance to see Johnny Peralta, you have to come away from this postseason impressed with this guy.
2 3-run home runs here in the League Championship Series. Makes all the plays at shortstop.
With 1 out, nobody on. That's Lowell with a backhand, a true hop. Low throw, but out as Euclid digs it out. Let's go down to Chris Myers. Chris.
Joe, we always hear about bulletin board material. The Red Sox, as if they needed it, on the back part of their locker room door, there was a quote written, and it was attributed to Ryan Garko of the Indians, but just this portion was not his. He said this Indians team is better than the Red Sox and will prove it once and for all in cramped Fenway Park. Sure, a home field celebration would have been nice, but silencing Red Sox Nation in its house will be just as sweet. Those were comments by a writer. This is all that Garko said. The champagne tastes just as good on the road as it does at home. But in the Red Sox clubhouse, in every locker room and on the back of their door, they had the entire quote attributed to Garko. I asked one of the Red Sox players about it. He said, well, whether he said all of that or not all the players know that. And I don't know if it'll help our cause, but when our guys see it, it won't hurt it either.
All right, Chris, thank you. And so now Kenny Lofton took a strike. Lofton hitting .306 this postseason for the Indians. Shallow left. Manny Ramirez. Inning over. Bottom of the second here at Fenway. Game number 6, 4-1 Boston. Number 9 man is Julio Lugo, and you almost get the sense that the Red Sox game plan is to go up there and take a strike, because everybody has gone to the plate pretty much with the bat on their shoulder, not offering at the first pitch except for Lowell in the first inning, and he hit that shallow fly ball into right.
Pedroia took a strike. Euclid took a strike. David Ortiz took a 3-1 pitch. Manny Ramirez took a strike. Fell behind J.D. Drew 3-1, and then the grand slam home run.
Carmona's 1-2 to Lugo. He gets his second strikeout. And Julio Lugo's troubles continue now, 3 out of 19 in this ALCS.
I had to laugh at that term that you used, Joe, game plan. That's a term, a baseball term borrowed from football over the last decade. I mean, it used to be more than 10 years ago that term was never used in baseball, game plan, but it's used a lot nowadays.
Here's Pedroia. He went after the first pitch and chops it foul.
Well, second time through the order. That's how you toy with the pitcher. Take the first time around and swing at the first pitch the next time around. You have to tell him what you're going to do.
Another part of the game of football that has certainly found its way into baseball is videotape study.
Yeah.
And guys who watch tape between at bats, which is what David Ortiz, the DH of the Red Sox, does. He'll do whatever he does, and when it's not his turn to come up and hit, he'll go back and look at that past at bat and watch for things he's doing, and certainly watch what the opposing pitcher is trying to do to him. 1 out, nobody on, 1 ball, 1 strike on Pedroia. Strike 2. Boys and Girls Clubs of America, the official charity of Major League Baseball, together they create a positive place for kids. One out, nobody on. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Pedroia, who got the first inning started with an infield hit. Euclid next. And that skips in 2-2. A 36-pitch first inning for Fausto Carmona. And a total of 44 to this point. Terry Francona said he pretty much made up his mind that he was going to put Ellsbury in the lineup after Game 5 in Cleveland on the flight back. But he waited to announce it today. And he said, one thing I could have done is put Jacoby, who's right there in the leadoff spot. But he said, I like Pedroia in the leadoff spot better anyway, and that wouldn't be fair to this 24-year-old kid who had only one at bat so far this postseason. Still 2-2.
As far as the bulletin board stuff to which Chris Myers was referring the last half inning, I mean, if you need a quote from another player to bring you back when you're down 3-2 playing at Fenway Park, no such thing.
With 1 out, nobody on. Pedroia lines one into left field. Lofton back. A leap can't get it. At least 2. A 1-out double.
This ball did not have a lot of hang time, and as a result, Lofton wasn't able to get back and make the jump. Had he been stationary instead of going back toward it, perhaps he makes the play. Being an ex-basketball player.
And Julian Tavares, who's not active on the roster, is active in the dugout, cheering Pedroia into second with a double. And Dustin Pedroia has come alive, as has Euclid. If you haven't looked at the numbers, look at that average. 450 in the ALCS. Has a hit tonight, a run scored. He came in hitting .355 this postseason, so that dispels the notion that it's just 2 guys carrying this offense. It has been 2 guys that have been driving in the runs, and now Victor Martinez goes out to talk. You have to love Pedroia, who had this to say. He said, you know, after 500 at bats, I hit over 300 in my first big league season. 12 or 13 at bats at the beginning of this postseason aren't going to tell me that I stink. And so he has stayed with it, and he has gotten hot. And that is very important with Euclid, Ortiz, Ramirez, and Lowell hitting behind him.
And he followed that up by saying, I don't care what anybody thinks or says or writes. Doesn't matter.
1 ball, 1 strike on Euclid.
Since that comment, he's been 4 for 6. Been on base 5 times.
He's really listed at 5'9", 180, but he said, for me, a guy who's 5'2", 115, it's not bad. Strike 2 on Euclid. It's Euclid now. It's Ortiz on deck as the Red Sox try to get that run back. Left side, Pedroia is going to make it to third on another infield hit for Euclid.
That ball hit the lip of the grass. Even had it not hit the lip, I do not think that Peralta makes the play, but it was an excellent base running play by Dustin Pedroia. Busting it from the get-go from second base, realizing the speed of the ball. Hits the lip, stays down. Pedroia goes to third. Another infield hit for Euclid. Excellent base running by Pedroia. The jump he had from second was terrific. Overslides third base. Had Peralta made the play, maybe they get the oversliding Pedroia. Who knows?
First and third now for Ortiz. 1 out. See if he is as passive in this at bat. Nope. Right up the middle and right to Peralta, who was on the other side of the bag, and that's the 11th double play. Curt Schilling and the Red Sox lead by 3. Third inning now. Nixon, Blake, and Sizemore. Strike one. Eric Wedge was hoping for a little Trot Nixon Fenway Park postseason magic. In 18 games here at Fenway, he's hit .316, 3 homers, 13 RBIs, and got the game-winning RBI in the 11th in Game 2. But the rest of that done in a Red Sox uniform. 0-1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Franklin Gutierrez, who has certainly struggled, hitting .174 over his last 16 games, is on the bench. Line drive is a base hit into right, just out of the reach of Dustin Pedroia. And let's check in for the first time tonight with Ken Rosenthal.
Joe, we've already seen tonight that Curt Schilling's diminished stuff leaves him very little margin for error. In Game 2, 4 of the 5 runs he allowed came on 2 pitches. A two-seamer that lacked late life, 3-run homer by Johnny Peralta. Then a fastball up in the zone, solo shot Grady Sizemore. Schilling knows he no longer can afford to miss locations. He said yesterday, I'm going to try to execute 110 pitches perfectly, and if I miss with 2 or 3, okay. But if I don't execute to that degree, I'm going to have trouble winning the game. Guys?
All right, Ken, thanks. And with Nixon on at first and nobody out, here's Casey Blake. Indians trying to jump right back in it. Boston got 4 in the first on the grand slam by Drew, and then Victor Martinez went deep, leading off the top of the second. Nixon with no lead over at first whatsoever, and Blake grounds it foul outside third.
Well, we talked about Fausto Carmona and having to stay ahead, and the same with Curt Schilling. I mean, you can't go out to the mound anticipating that you have to be so fine throwing balls on the corner all the time in order to get through. You've got to be able to use the fat part of the plate. You try to do it early, but you can't put yourself in a bind and think that every pitch you make has to be on the corner. Doesn't work like that. Nobody's that perfect.
Blake out in front of it, and the count's 1-2. 6 for 9 so far with a first pitch strike tonight from Curt Schilling. So far this postseason for the Red Sox, Josh Beckett among the starters, 3-0 with a 1.17 ERA. The rest of the group 1-2 with an ERA just under 6. That's what Schilling's good Game 3 start against the Angels factored in. Line drives, a base hit into left. That pitch was up, and the first 2 are on for the Indians here in the 3rd inning.
Trot Nixon hit a high cutter, and now it's Casey Blake's turn. He actually goes out of the strike zone to hit this ball. This ball is about 3 inches off the plate. That could have been a splitter. That was a splitter. It was not a cut fastball. So 2 straight hits for the Indians.
And here's the tying run at the plate. Sizemore, who almost went deep in his first at bat, eventually grounded out. Homered off Schilling in Game 2.
Think about Terry Francona right now. He's got to make up his mind early whether Schilling has it or not, and perhaps go to another starter. Who that other starter would be, I would think John Lester, who pitched so well in Game 4. That's certainly a choice. He's got to make a quick decision right here. Does Schilling have enough to get him through 5 innings?
Lester is a possibility. Tim Wakefield, a possibility. But then you get into Wakefield throwing to Veritek behind the plate. Wakefield is available, according to Francona, in the bullpen tonight, and if there is a Game 7 tomorrow. 2-0 pitch. Sizemore rips it into right field, didn't hit it hard, and Drew is there. That's a big out for Schilling. 2 on, 1 out. Grady Sizemore now 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position in this postseason. And as Asdrubal Cabrera steps in, 0 for 1 tonight, as a 7-game hitting streak on the line here this evening during the postseason. Here's a guy who's hit .429 with runners in scoring position. And that misses high, ball 1. Five for 8 this series, .429 overall. 2 on, 1 out. 2-0. Up by 3 with Schilling on the mound, but anxious down in the dugout for the Red Sox. On the corner, 2-1.
Without hearing it, you can almost feel what Terry Francona and John Farrell are talking about down there. How long do we go with Curt Schilling?
Cabrera into right. Drew drifts back. 2 out. Tagging and going to third is Nixon. The 2 big outs after the first 2 reached. Tonight's AT&T trivia question: which Cincinnati pitcher gave up Carlton Fisk's game-winning home run in Game 6 of the 1975 World Series? You mentioned it the other night, and with Travis Hafner digging his way in. Hafner's a guy who struck out his first time tonight and has struck out in 7 of his last 9 at-bats. Eric Wedge telling us before the game that of all the hitters that are quote-unquote in between, Hafner is the one most guilty of that, where he's looking for one pitch, getting something else, and is confused at the plate. Tying run at the plate. Hafner got a good swing at a 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
This time in his career, this is about as fast as Curt Schilling can throw a pitch. Pumping up to Travis Hafner.
It's as hard as he's thrown all night.
Yeah.
Derek Shelton, the hitting coach, watching, and an 0-1 count on Hafner. Travis knocked in 100 runs during the regular season. On deck is Victor Martinez, who has owned Curt Schilling when the two have faced one another. Nixon and Blake, the runners. Strike 2.
That is a perfect example of being caught in between. Taking a pitch he normally hammers. Good location by Schilling. But when Hafner's looking for the splitter, he gets the fastball, looks for the fastball, he gets the splitter.
Schilling was actually back here in Boston watching the performance of Josh Beckett on Thursday night. It was up to Beckett as to whether Schilling would get another start. The free agent to be, Curt Schilling. Beckett did his part. Schilling's 1-2. Euclid backs up, steps on. Manny Ramirez first up for the Red Sox. Mike Lowell, then J.D. Drew. 4-1. Boston out in front, and taking all the way is Manny Ramirez. That's low for ball one. The Red Sox cannot be content as they hit here up by 3 with what they've seen so far from Curt Schilling. I wonder how much he has tonight and how long he'll be able to go. It could be a long night for the bullpen as well for Boston, and the same for Cleveland. With Carmona, who was thrown 54 pitches so far tonight.
Bullpen certainly ready to empty their tanks.
Ball 3 to Ramirez. Just like in game 2 of the division series against the Yankees, that tag is hanging out of the shirt of Fausto Carmona. 3-0 pitch. 3-1.
Ramirez thought this pitch was low. It was close.
So a 3-1 count. Lowell will follow, then Drew. Carmona. Ball 4 inside. A borderline pitch. Carmona doesn't get the call, and that's walk number 3. The AT&T trivia question was, which Reds pitcher gave up Carlton Fisk's game-winning home run in Game 6 of the '75 series? The answer? Pat Darcy. And the voice of Dick Stockton, our colleague at Fox. One of the greatest single swings in World Series history as the pitch is up and in to Mike Lowell. And now Garco is going to come in and talk to Carmona. Lowell, a shallow fly ball to right, his first time up with the bases loaded, 1 out. J.D. Drew rescued the inning for Boston. 2-0 now. Victor Martinez is going to go out and talk.
Yeah, Carmona, obviously with that stuff, the nasty sinkers that are down, always one pitch away from a double play, but not if you fall behind hitters. You fall behind big league hitters, you turn mules into racehorses.
You suggesting anything by saying that?
Just an expression. Infield in, a mule becomes a racehorse, but you keep falling behind big league hitters and they're going to get you. They'll catch up to that fastball.
Lowell waits for the 2-0 pitch. And it's just high, 3-0. And for as much anxiety as there is in the Red Sox dugout, they're anxious down there on that side as well. And they've already had Mastny getting loose in the early innings tonight. That's high. Back-to-back walks and 4 on the night. And the best ovation of the season for J.D. Drew. Willis, the pitching coach for the Indians, will come out and talk with Drew getting set to go. 2 on, nobody out. Last time up. straightaway center on a 3-1 pitch. Let's go down to Ken Rosenthal.
Guys, you have to wonder whether CC Sabathia and Fausto Carmona are both hitting the wall. Carmona has thrown 228 innings this season. He began the night with that total. Sabathia 262 and a third. That's more than 50 more than their previous career highs. Manager Eric Wedge says he doesn't believe that either pitcher is tired, but concedes that it's something you have to consider.
Rafael Perez, a left-hander, getting loose. Yeah, I mean, this was a guy that last year, Carmona, they had as a setup reliever, then tried him as a closer. Sent him to the minor leagues, came up, made 4 September starts for the Indians, has had a great regular season, 19-8. Second best ERA in the American League, but struggling in this series after overwhelming the Yankees in the division series. And there's Drew taking ball 1.
I mean, this is the league championship series. I don't think there's anything to that fatigue factor. I mean, he's wild, but he's still throwing.
Drew with another base hit. Here comes Ramirez. No throw home by Sizemore. It's 5-1. All 5 RBIs for J.D. Drew.
The home run hit back through the middle and into center field, and now the line drive right past the glove of Fausto Carmona, and that is going to be it.
So Carmona cannot get through the third. Still nobody out for Boston, up by 4. Rafael Perez takes over, and Jason Varitek will turn around and bat right-handed. Strike 1 from Perez. So far in the ALCS, Perez has gone 2/3 of an inning, allowed 5 runs on 4 hits, which is surprising after his numbers in the Yankee series and a 1.78 ERA during the regular season. Pitching in the 3rd inning. And he fooled Varitek. Strike 2. Runners on at first and second, and Varitek watches one go into the dirt.
Good play by Martinez, smothering that ball so it doesn't go down the third baseline. Good play by Victor. I think Eric Wedge, normally if you start a right-handed pitcher, you want to bring a left-hander in after that because the lineup is set for right-handed pitching. Jacoby Ellsbury in the game now.
Varitek into center field. Lowell will tag at second and make it over to third. 1 out in the inning. So a productive out for Varitek. Here's Jacoby Ellsbury with first and third, 1 out. Jacoby handled left-handed pitching. Faced a lefty 26 times with the big league club, struck out only 3 times, which is important with a guy who can run, putting the bat on the ball and hanging in well against a left-handed pitcher. Ball 1.
That's why if you're an infielder, the second baseman, shortstop, or third base, you do have the option to come home because the way Ellsbury runs, if the ball's not hit real sharply, then you're not going to double him up. So you do have that option.
Ellsbury loops a base hit into left. left, and the rookie delivers and makes it 6-1.
Ellsbury jammed and just hits it over Johnny Peralta's head. So left-handed batters have driven in every Boston run tonight. A fastball on the inside part, loop to left, and Ellsbury has his first LCS hit.
And now Julio Lugo, the number 9 man who struck out his first time, is 3 out of 19 in this series. Drew the lead runner at second. Ellsbury on at first. Tremendous speed aboard for Boston. Lugo without an RBI in this series. Strike one.
You can see those front hips, or that front hip pulling out of there. Julio trying to pull everything. You can cure that by trying to go up the middle or to right field. But it's such a quick fix that has to happen here in the League Championship Series. You don't have weeks, you have days and hours.
That's a fair ball down into the corner. Drew will score. Ellsbury picking him up, laying him down, scores from first. It's 8-1.
Fastball down and in, just inside the bag at third base. Drew scoring easily, and Ellsbury flying around the bases. See Casey Blake standing on the bag and just moving off the bag at the last minute. And Ellsbury is fun to watch run.
It's fun to watch hit. It's fun to watch play the outfield.
Yep.
I have a feeling that if there is a Game 7, he might find his name on that lineup card again.
Correct point.
Well, how much has been written and talked about with regard to the bottom of the order for the Boston Red Sox in this series? Heck, in this postseason, a team that offensively, at least in the run production department, has been carried by, you can say 2 through 5 in the lineup, but the bottom of the order tonight for Boston, 6 through 9. All of the RBIs. One ball, one strike. You and I both came into this series and thought, well, this has got a shot of being a 6 or 7 game series, and predominantly the reason the pitching, the starting pitching, that Cleveland could match up with the top part of the rotation for Boston. There's a 1-1. Check swing. He did not go. And Martinez blocked it. But surprisingly, here are the Indians at this moment leading 3-2. And the top 2 starters in this series, Sabathia and Carmona, both 19-game winners, have done nothing.
The Red Sox have been hammering both of them.
It was the bullpen in Game 2. And the starters, Jake Westbrook in Game 3 and Paul Bird in Game 4. And Rafael Perez is really struggling. He has not been impressive at all in this ALCS. 3 balls and a strike. Aaron Laffey, who has not pitched in this series, is getting loose. Laffey hasn't pitched since the end of the regular season. Pedroia is the 7th man to bat in this inning. Lugo at second, 1 out. 4 runs are in and a 7-run lead. Another walk. 3rd of the inning. Two on, 1 out, and another bouncer in there from Rafael Perez, and another visit from Victor Martinez. Carl Willis is wondering what's happened here. What's happened to his top 2 starters and what's gone on with Rafael Perez after the Yankees were eliminated. Perez a big reason why they were eliminated.
Pitched in all 3 games, or 3 of the 4 games, I beg your pardon, and won 1 of them against New York.
Red Sox getting good swings against him. Against the Yankees, he was 1-0, an ERA of 1.5. 6 innings pitched, 1 run, 3 hits, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. It's been the opposite, the reverse of that in the ALCS.
Yeah, remember before Game 5, we said it could change like that, and snapped our fingers, and certainly it has. Changed with a snap of the fingers for the Red Sox. Winning Game 5 and ahead by 7.
Euclid hits one into left. This one is off the wall. Lugo scores. Throw into second is in time to hold Euclid up, and the throw hits Euclid, trickles away, into scores Pedroia. 10-1.
Cabrera is arguing with second base umpire Kerwin Danley at Euclid intentionally put his head in front of the throw to first base. Didn't appear that way to me. As 1 run scores, Pedroia is on at 3rd, and you could see it looked like Euclid was trying to get out of the way of the ball. An RBI single for Euclid. Scoring Lugo, he went too far at first, and then the Indians botched the run down up.
No place for Euclid to go. He's right in the baseline. Ducked his head down a bit. And Perez is knocked out. And Aaron Laffey makes his first postseason appearance after a 4-2 regular season, an ERA of 4.5.
Yeah, only 22 years old. He won 17 games in 3 classifications, including 4 with Cleveland.
That's a fair ball. Out at first, and the throw is low to the second baseman, or at least the second base bag. Both Blake and Peralta were there. And I think Garco thought the ball was foul, and he was surprised it was a fair ball. He got the out at first and then threw it right into the ground. They had Euclid by a mile. Look where this ball is.
Yeah, well, they got the call, and Garco throws it right into the ground. It did look like a foul ball. One more time. I think it was a foul ball. But Garco playing the high hop, steps on the bag to get Ortiz, and of course, Euclid has to be tagged out. I tell you, Kevin Euclid is just wearing that area out between first and second.
It was probably worn out.
Yeah.
The ground out by Ortiz. Here's Manny Ramirez.
You can't anticipate a double play, but that's got to be a throwing error on Ryan Garco.
I would think. And it is now. They just put it up. Just now put up E3. That's the second error of the inning. They gave Cabrera an error on that throw by Asdrubal on the ball hit by Euclid when he was trapped between first and second prior to the pitching change. So it's a ground out by Ortiz, E3 on that throw, and a 2-0 count on Manny Ramirez in a 10-1 game. The 2-0 from Laffey. Outside 3-0. Well, this has taken all the pressure off Curt Schilling.
I was just thinking the same thing. And the pressure off Terry Francona having to make a decision, or John Farrell, the pitching coach, having to make a decision, as the Red Sox have erupted for 6 so far here in the 3rd.
Another walk. 2 in this inning for Manny Ramirez. The patience that this Boston lineup exhibits night after night is impressive for a team that loves to pound the baseball. They don't go up there swinging from their heels right from the get-go.
Yeah, they make you throw strikes.
Here's Lowell. 2 on, 2 out. Strike to the Red Sox third baseman. Meanwhile, a guy who was supposed to be a big weapon in this series against the left-handed pop for the Boston Red Sox, Rafael Perez, has to have zero confidence after what he's done so far in this series, and he could be counted on heavily tomorrow night in a potential Game 7. He came on in the 3rd inning to try and shut it down, and he didn't do any of that. He allowed, in a 1/3 of an inning, 3 hits. And to this point, 3 runs. That's ball 1 to Lowell. Euclid and Ramirez the runners, and that's a line drive foul. Down the right field line, slicing toward the corner. Nixon is there, and the inning is finally over. .60 degrees is the temperature as Victor Martinez lines a base hit into left field. He's 2 for 2 tonight against Curt Schilling, and Curt just cannot figure a way to get the Indians catcher out.
5 for 5 in this league championship series. He homered to right field for the only Indian run. Now the fastball outside, hammered to left.
An updated average of .692 for Victor Martinez against Curt Schilling. Now it's Garco. Ryan struck out his first time. That last inning, that 6-run inning, as we said during it, relieved all the pressure for the Red Sox with Schilling. Schilling looks like his stuff is average here tonight. He got the first 2 on with base hits in the 3rd inning, got around that, gave up the home run to Victor Martinez in the 2nd. But he doesn't care about the style points here tonight. He just wants to win, and he's up by 9 here in the 4th inning.
10 runs will make your stuff above average. Good splitter to Garco.
We actually talked to Terry Francona during the last break, and that was one of the questions that was brought up by Tim for Terry. Francona's been with Schilling both in Philadelphia and now the 4 years here with Boston. Francona was the manager of the Philadelphia Phillies from '97 to 2000. And his first year here in the dugout with the Red Sox was the year that they won the World Series in 2004, and he was a huge part of that win. The 1-2. Garko checked his swing, 2-2. I mean, night after night, we were there in 2004 with all of the decisions that had to be made, keeping his team together, down 3 games to nothing. He had a wild bunch in the clubhouse and dugout that year. They didn't quit on him, and he handled his bullpen brilliantly that postseason. Garko gets under it. In the air to left for Manny Ramirez, 1-on-1 out. We talked to Terry Francona and talked to him about J.D. Drew and the night that he has had tonight, putting smiles on his teammates' faces.
Yeah, he did. And in the first time, his swing, you know, they made a great pitch to Manny. Got Mikey Law out on the first pitch, and then he hits the ball to dead center. Really, you know, not only gave us 4 runs, but gave us a lot of life.
Those 6 runs in the 3rd inning kind of relieved you from making a decision about Curt Schilling early.
There's going to be a lot of decisions. There's a lot of baseball, but I understand your point. This is a good guy to have on the mound because he throws strikes, and now he needs to go out and get strike 1.
When he's come back to what has he said about his stuff here tonight? I mean, I know he's gotten into and out of trouble a little bit, and it looked for a while there in the top of the 3rd inning like was getting a little shaky for him.
Yeah, the last thing we want is Victor Martinez to hit with the bases loaded. I don't talk to Schill when he pitches. The more ornery he is, the better we all are.
Who do you talk to down there?
Depends how nervous I get.
Thanks, Terry.
Okay, guys.
Terry Francona, who has the ability to keep it light and keep this thing pointed in the right direction despite dealing with a number of personalities over his years here with the Red Sox. Very good at managing people. He has some unique individuals to manage, not only now but in the past. Peralta strikes out, and that's strikeout number 3 for Curt Schilling.
Good splitter from Schilling to get Peralta. Terry Francona saying all Curt has to do is go out and throw strike 1. He has thrown strike 1 to 3 straight hitters.
Here's Kenny Lofton, flat out to left his first time. They boo Lofton here at Fenway after Lofton's heated argument with Josh Beckett in the middle of the diamond during Game 5. Beckett, by the way, has said publicly that he is prepared for the Red Sox to ask him for relief help tomorrow night in a potential Game 7. Daisuke Matsuzaka is the scheduled starter if we have a game tomorrow night against Jake Westbrook. And Beckett, who is 3-0 this postseason, an ERA of 1.17, 26 strikeouts in 23 innings. Could be asked to do what the Marlins asked him to do in Game 7 after winning Game 5 for Florida. Came back and in 4 innings of relief work allowed 1 hit in 2003 when he was a 23-year-old. Shattered bat. Euclid to his right will go to the bag, and a scoreless frame put up by Schilling. 10-1 Boston, and a big ovation for J.D. Drew, who is 2 for 2, 5 RBIs, 2 runs scored. The grand slam with 2 out back in the first. Ball 1 from Aaron Laffey. One ball, 1 strike.
David Jonathan Drew, or JD, Jonathan David. Change those initials to just delivered, as he has delivered tonight in a big way.
2 balls and a strike from Laffey. Drew had an .095 average against the Indians this season. Did not have an RBI in this ALCS before that slam, and now this one into left for Kenny Lofton. It almost came out of his glove. 1 out. Obviously, the ALCS here tonight, and they hope around here tomorrow night for Game 7. They moved the Boston Bruins game up to not coincide with the action here tonight, and the Bruins defeated the Rangers 1-0 in a shootout. Boston College off this weekend, but the number 2 team in the country, South Florida, lost on Thursday. So BC could move up without playing a game to number 2. And the undefeated Patriots are at the Dolphins on Sunday. One ball, 2 strikes with Ellsbury on deck. Veritek 0 for 1. He has walked and fly to center. 2-2. With 1 out, Veritek pops it up. Trot Nixon is there for the Indians. Backs up a few, 2 out. Jacoby Ellsbury is coming up. For more on him, let's go down to Ken Rosenthal.
Joe, when you talk about Jacoby Ellsbury, think Johnny Damon. Howard Baird, the scout who signed Damon and is now with the Red Sox, says that Ellsbury is further along at 23 than Damon was at the same age. He's got a much better arm. He's more fluid in center field, more conventional swing, chance to hit for greater power. Baird isn't saying that Ellsbury will be a better player than Damon. He's merely saying that the potential is there.
All right, Kenny. Well, we have seen flashes of it even here tonight. Jacoby with a base hit off the left-hander Rafael Perez, an RBI, scored a run, showed his speed going first to home. And he can excite a crowd. In fact, his 3rd game up, he scored from second on a wild pitch.
A lot of baseball people have compared him to Grady Sizemore. He looks a little like Grady Sizemore.
Here's one into right center field off the bat of Ellsbury, and a diving catch by Grady Sizemore. Kurt Schilling trying to get through the top of the 5th inning. He will have the 8, 9, and 1 hitters up by 9 and trying to up his career postseason record to 10-2. His offense has torn it open here in Game 6. 4 in the first, 6 runs in the 3rd inning, and ball 1 inside to Trot Nixon, who's 1 for 1. Nixon, Blake, and then Sizemore. Too quick with that swing. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You notice there was not the ovation for Trot Nixon when he was announced tonight that he received back in May, his first return to Fenway. Not only because he's now firmly entrenched with the Indians, but he had that key hit, the game-winning hit in Game 2 when the Indians scored 7 in the top of the 11th inning.
The 1-1 from Schilling. 2-1. Nixon signed a 1-year deal, economical deal, coming off back surgery. Had a disc problem and should be getting stronger and better as he goes. Had an okay first year with Cleveland. .251 average, 3 homers, 31 RBIs. Here's a 2-1. 2-2. His 10-year Red Sox career, Trot hit .278 with 133 home runs. And had a terrific World Series back in 2004. Hit .357.
Trot from Durham, lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. His father, Dr. William Nixon, was a high school catcher for Catfish Hunter.
drive into right. It's a base hit. And Nixon is 2 for 2. Casey Blake coming up. Chris Myers, it's all yours.
Joe, you know, Fenway is always a tough ticket, but fans have been lined up since Thursday night out here, some through Friday in a rain pour, and they were surprised when Dustin Pedroia and Mike Lowell showed up handing them a meal. They came from a Mexican restaurant when they got back from Cleveland at the suggestion of Mike Lowell's wife. Just bring him some food. So they showed up. The fans were excited. Some 15 to 20 tacos. I asked Pedroia about it before the game. He said, maybe some good karma handing out the food, and he said, we want to support the people who support us. And I added this for Tim, Joe. I apologize. Just some food for thought. Thank you.
One on, nobody out. Casey Blake singled his first time up. One and one. Personality, player profile. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. His favorite movie. Loves Metallica, and his favorite baseball moment was the Kirk Gibson home run in '88 for the Dodgers against, there's some Metallica, for the Dodgers against the A's and Dennis Eckersley. 2-1 to Blake. Timlin is up for the Red Sox. As we showed you in the bullpen, he's not throwing, but Schilling again trying to get around a leadoff hit. Third inning in a row for that. He jams Blake, and Manny Ramirez to his left. 1 on, 1 out. Deal in June of 2002 with the Montreal Expos. Strike one, and it was a big deal for the Indians, who traded Bartolo Colon, who was by far the Indians' best starter at that point, to the Expos. And they got a ton of young talent, including Grady Sizemore, Cliff Lee, the left-hander, who tried to fight his way through injuries this season, starting pitcher. And Brandon Phillips, who had a huge year swinging the bat, the second baseman for the Cincinnati Reds.
30-30, 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases for Brandon this year.
1 ball, 1 strike on Sizemore, with Asdrubal Cabrera next. Two and one. Schilling in that game 2 start went 4 2/3, allowed 5 runs on 9 hits. Not his worst postseason start. That was game 2 of the 2004 ALCS at New York. 6 runs in 3 innings. He didn't think he'd come back in that series, and not only did he come back with that detached tendon in his ankle that they had to suture in place, but he pitched great in game 6. And then came back and threw 6 shutout innings in game 2 of the World Series, and is a big reason why the Red Sox have a World Series ring from that year. One on, 1 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hard hit. Pedroia. Lugo double play. And Julio Lugo, who finally broke through with a 2-run double and a run scored back in a 6-run 3rd inning, leads off and checks on Peralta from deep in the hole. Low throw and out. Good play by Garco.
Looked like that was by design by Peralta, playing deep for Lugo. Lugo can run. And that in-between hop to Garco. You could almost see Peralta taking a little off of that ball to get it down. And the hop, an in-between hop, and a very good play by Ryan Garko.
Back to the top of the order, and Dustin Pedroia. Big reason why the Red Sox are enjoying this 9-run lead. He's been on base 3 times. Started the bottom of the first with an infield hit. Doubled off the wall in the second and walked and scored in that 6-run third. Top 2 hitters perfect. Pedroia and Youkilis. 5 hits and a walk. And on a 10-run night, the 6 through 9 hitters for Boston have all the RBIs except 1.
Yeah, what are the odds of the Red Sox scoring 10 runs and David Ortiz and Manny Ramirez hitless, which is the case, even though they've been on base 3 times with walks.
The 1-2 pitch. Another rocket. What a play. Cabrera to his right. Cannot come away any more impressed with Asdrubal Cabrera. He makes every play.
All you saw from Pedroia is laughter after he got past first base, just laughing, saying you hit it that hard. You got to tip your cap to Asdrubal Cabrera. Guy makes a play on you like that, tip your cap.
Here's Youkilis. 2 out, nobody on. Really, for Pedroia, he's had a series filled with that. That's chopped off the plate. Casey Blake with a bare hand grab and throw. First up is Cabrera, and Curt Schilling starts him with a strike. The precedent had been set from Schilling. If you need a big game performance, he has been the guy. He's a different type pitcher than he was the last time around when he was starring in October in 2004, and it's not as velocity that you worry about. It's not him lighting up a radar gun. It's just him getting big outs and trying to outsmart the opposition, and so far he has done just that. And now here in Game 6, as Schilling fools Travis Hafner. It's been all Boston bats. 10 runs on 9 hits, and the hero so far swinging the bat, J.D. Drew. But he's had some help. Every time Travis Hafner looks up, he's got 2 strikes. Oh for his last 13. Another strikeout for Hafner, and for Schilling, strikeout number 4. A look at the owner's suite here at Fenway Park, and Bud Selig in the middle of it. Tom Werner on the left as we look at that shot, and Senator Dodd on your right. Two out, nobody on here in the 6th inning, and 4 strikeouts for Schilling. Here is his nemesis, Victor Martinez, who's 2 for 2 with a home run and a single. It's easy to lose sight of what happened earlier in this game with Schilling on the mound. and it happened in the third. It was a 4-1 game at the time, a 3-run lead. That one misses, ball one. In the third inning, a leadoff hit by Nixon, a base hit by Blake, so 2 on, nobody out. Tying run up. Grady Sizemore lined out to right. Cabrera flied to right. And Hafner made the out at first on a ground ball, and that kept Victor Martinez from coming to the plate. Something Terry Francona referred to during our chat shortly thereafter. And since that moment, Curt Schilling has had to pitch around 2 leadoff hits. He's had a double play turned behind him. He has struck out 4 on the night. He's been good. And he falls behind Martinez 2-1.
That's an interesting point, because had Grady Sizemore or Cabrera or Hafner gotten on, then that brings Martinez to the plate. He would have represented the go-ahead run, but it was not to be, as Schilling retired Sizemore, Cabrera, and Hafner.
The 2-1. 2-2 on Martinez. And then in the bottom of that third, the Red Sox came up with 6 runs. RBIs by Drew, 1 by Ellsbury off the left-hander. Impressive at bat. 2 by Lugo. 1 by Euclid, and 1 run scored on an error.
I think the crowd is sensing that this could be the last inning for Schilling, but no one up in the Red Sox bullpen.
Aaron Laffey has done a nice job since entering. Now we're in the bottom of the 6th, and it's worth a look ahead now in what is a 9-run game. Red Sox trying to force a game 7 tomorrow night, and it'll be Daisuke Matsuzaka against Jake Westbrook.
Jake Westbrook winning that matchup the last time they faced. That was in game 3 on Monday night.
Westbrook was outstanding. We actually liked the first few innings by Daisuke using his fastball. Kenny Lofton went up there, looked for a first pitch fastball, hit a 2-run home run, but then it fell apart in the 5th inning, and Matsuzaka could not get through 5. He allowed 4 runs on 6 hits. Here is David Ortiz striking out, looking, and that's 1 out in the inning. Meanwhile, as you look at Schilling putting together his reports before, during, and after starts, a lot was made of the mood of Daisuke Matsuzaka after that loss, and with members of the media watching him basically despondently staring into his locker for over a half hour after that game, with his t-shirt on, uniform pants still on, and not really answering any questions. And how will his state of mind be when he takes the ball, if he gets that chance tomorrow night?
Well, the intriguing thing also is whether Josh Beckett will be ready to pitch tomorrow night in relief. That is a compelling argument that he brings to the table, one that is so unusual for this Red Sox organization to allow him to do something like that.
He has said that he expects the Red Sox to ask him if he's available, and if so, he believes he will be. And again, 4 innings of 1-hit ball in game 7 after a game 5 start for the Cubs in 2003. He did that at Wrigley. Manny Ramirez with a count of 1-1. Tonight it's Schilling. Tomorrow night in a possible game 7, Matsuzaka and Westbrook. For more on Beckett's situation, let's go down to Ken Rosenthal.
I do think, Joe, that it's possible we will see Josh Beckett tomorrow in game 7 in relief. I spoke with Red Sox pitching coach John Farrell before the game, and he said they're going to go by how Beckett feels. Keep in mind also, if they pitch him tomorrow for an inning or 2, game 1 of the World World Series isn't until Wednesday night, and if the Red Sox won, I think they'd still have Beckett ready to go.
All right, well, so much was made after the Game 1 start in this ALCS. And what was a 10-3 win, and Beckett being pulled after 80 pitches. Terry Francona telling us that Josh stiffened up, and with the lead, why not take him out? Not willing to push him up on short rest to work in Game 4. But may work on 2 days rest. Good play by Blake and Garco on the other end in a potential Game 7. And you look at Beckett in this series, those numbers will change after tonight. A 9 ERA among the other 3 starters coming into tonight, and Schilling is doing his part to get the win and lower that group ERA. Aaron Laffey has made it look easy as he misses up to Mike Lowell, ball 1.
Only one base runner against Laffey since entering the game, with 2 out in the 3rd inning.
Lowell shoots one into left. Halfway up the monster, and Mike Lowell will be content with a 2-out single. So Lowell is on, 2 out, and J.D. Drew. So they're getting production now out of the bottom part of the lineup, and Ellsbury is the switch from the first 5 games, and I think we should expect to see him in there tomorrow night. One ball, 1 strike on JD. Ball in for strike 2. And the strikeout from Laffey. Hideki Okajima is getting loose. I think we're to the point now where Schilling has pitched well. He's done his job, and you know that Terry Francona wants to get some of those guys some work out in the bullpen after an off day yesterday. Okajima did not pitch in Game 5. Try and tune him up in case they need him tomorrow. Fly ball into left center field, and Ellsbury is back. A leap, and he cannot make the catch. Garco will end up at 3rd base with nobody out. Looked like Ellsbury had another step to go out there in the outfield, but did what he could over his head in a leadoff triple.
Well, Terry Francona telling us that you lose some defense with Ellsbury out there. He has a chance to be an outstanding defensive player, base runner, and offensive force. But Coco Crisp, Terry thinks, is a Gold Glove center fielder. Now, whether Crisp could have gotten that ball, I'm not sure. But a good try by Ellsbury. And now Papelbon making some moves in the bullpen. But Okajima would be next in line.
Peralta now with a runner at 3rd, nobody out. It did look like Ellsbury had another little bit of room to get closer to that wall. Ball 1 down and away to Peralta, who's 0 for 2.
That wall is not padded in the monster, but it is padded in center field. And the reason it's padded in that area right in through here is because of what happened to Fred Lynn during the 1975 World Series. Game 6, trying to make a catch off the bat of Ken Griffey Sr. And I've never heard such a stunned Fenway Park as after that play.
Strike 2 on Peralta.
That was the famous Game 6 to which we alluded earlier with Carlton Fisk, the home run off Pat Darcy. But this happened earlier in the game when Fred Lynn slammed into center field, and that padding was not there then.
MVP and Rookie of the Year, 75. Peralta is going to get a run home as J.D. Drew goes back to get it. It's a sac fly. Tagging and scoring is Garco, and it's 10-2. A strike over the outside corner to Kenny Lofton. 1 out, nobody on. A run home. Lofton hits it hard right at Pedroia. 2 out. Different type pitcher, but the same result from Curt Schilling. He's 1 out away from getting through 7. That'll probably be it for his night, with Okajima getting loose and needing some work. Javier Lopez, another lefty, now joins him. But the man who's standing in Schilling's way is Nixon, who's 2 for 2. 2 runs on 6 hits, not 1 walk. No surprise from Schilling. 5 strikeouts, a home run. And all he will care about at the end of the night is a W, which would make his postseason record 10-2.
And 4-0 in games facing elimination.
And undefeated at home.
Right.
In the postseason, wherever home has been. Philly, Arizona, Boston. Came to the Red Sox for the 2004 season for Casey Fossum, Brandon Lyon, Jorge De La Rosa. Curt came up with Baltimore in 1988, was with Houston, Philadelphia from 92 to 2000. Was the MVP of the 93 NLCS for the Phillies. In 2000, traded to Arizona. Was the co-MVP of the 2001 World Series. And traded here for the 2004 season, and his contract runs out at the end of this year. And in a thin free agent pitching class, he's made himself some money tonight. Right center field. Drew is there. 7 strong from Curt Schilling. Aaron Laffey has done something big here. He has taken the pressure off the rest of the bullpen, eaten up a lot of outs, and saving guys for tomorrow night. Here's a guy who hasn't pitched since the end of the regular season, and he has been nearly perfect.
Yes, so is Curt Schilling.
Absolutely. But this thing could have gotten away from Cleveland to the point where they're just trying to keep it respectable, and Laffey's done that. Varitek 0 for 3 with a walk tonight. And now Ellsbury takes a strike. Only the second full year in pro ball for Jacoby. And he's had a nice night. RBI single and a run scored, and now Javier Lopez, the only lefty, loosening in the bullpen. 3rd strikeout for Laffey. 2 out, nobody on for Julio Lugo. Ball 1.
Joe, all sorts of possibilities tomorrow night. We mentioned the fact that Josh Beckett may be available tomorrow night. How about CC Sabathia for Cleveland? Perhaps.
High hop for Casey Blake. Casey Blake faces Javier Lopez and flies to right. 1 pitch, 1 out in the 8th. Hour and a half before game time tomorrow night for a Game 7 or throughout the World Series. You can log on foxsports.com, MLB.com, and it's Javier Lopez with Okajima still getting loose in the bullpen and Mike Timlin joining him. Here's Grady Sizemore, who is hitless tonight. Meanwhile, the closer for the Indians needs some work, Joe Borowski. Borowski has pitched only twice in this series, games 2 and 3.
Interesting to note, we talked about it the last half inning. If CC Sabathia would be available tomorrow night, or Fausto Carmona for that matter. Carmona working 63 pitches tonight. Sabathia starting against Josh Beckett on Thursday night at 112 pitches. And it's interesting to note that Sabathia has never pitched in relief in the minor leagues or in the major leagues. But tomorrow night, perhaps all hands on deck.
With 1 out, nobody on, Sizemore looks at ball 1, 1 and 2. As Drupal Cabrera next. If anybody gets on this inning or starting the 9th, Travis Hafner will be at the plate, and the Indians have got to get their DH going. Ball 2 on Sizemore. Hafner started this game having hit .348 in his last 17 games played at Fenway Park with 5 home runs. But in this ALCS, he is 0 for his last 14. Check swing, he did not go, and it's a full count on Sizemore. Top of that, Hafner struck out in 8 of his last 11 at bats. He's a guy the Indians count on, and in that number 3 spot in the lineup. Meanwhile, Sizemore is only 5 out of 24 in this series. Two out for Cabrera. And Lopez thought better of trying to make the play. He let Pedroia do it, and we go to the bottom of the 8th. Top of the order for Boston, and Pedroia goes after the first pitch. In the air to left center field for Sizemore to his right. 1 out. Let's go down to Ken Rosenthal with Curt Schilling.
Curt, you said yesterday that you were scared to death to fail. What are your emotions after what you did tonight?
I'm feeling good. I mean, you know, we're a couple outs away, and so getting those last couple outs is a big deal. But I mean, that's always been a factor for me in the postseason, the fear of failure, and it motivates me.
3rd inning, the lead was only 4-1. You gave up 2 singles to start the inning. Then you had the top of the order. How did you get through it?
I really stayed. One of the things John has preached to me is to stay pitch to pitch. And in the postseason, in these games, if you can't stay in the moment in the pitch, you get out of yourself and things happen and get away from you. And they had 2 guys on, and I just kept telling myself, just make sure you make this pitch. Just make sure. And I kept doing that. And the next thing you know, we got out of the inning.
The ovation coming off the mound. What did that mean to you?
That's special. This is a special place, and I have so many incredible memories. I thank the Lord for giving me the chance to be in this organization, to play for these people in front of these fans, and you know, those are moments you never ever forget.
Looks like we'll have a Game 7 tomorrow. Dice K on the mound. What do you think about the Red Sox chances?
Well, I mean, you know, we're confident. Game 7, it's a one-game winner-take-all, and in sports, it really is the do-or-die game, and you can't ask for anything more. We're down 3-1. Josh comes back and puts us in position. Our offense comes out tonight and does a phenomenal job, and now we're going to lean on Dice K, and I believe he's going to come through and do something special tomorrow.
Kurt, thank you very much. Guys, back to you.
All right, and our thanks to Curt Schilling for stopping by and chatting with Ken Rosenthal. Nice of him to do it after icing down. And again, 7 innings, 2 runs, 6 hits. In what was a 3-run game, he got around the back-to-back hits in the 3rd inning, and he is worthy of the win tonight and worthy still of that description of a big game pitcher. He'll be 41 next month.
Something that can't be overstated either, Joe. Even though the Red Sox were down 3-2 after that win by Josh Beckett the other night, we talked about how confident this team was going back to Fenway Park in Boston, and they certainly have shown that tonight.
There is a 1-out walk from Joe Borowski. And here we are in the bottom of the 8th, 10-2 Boston, looking at Game 7 tomorrow night. Ortiz is fooled by Borowski.
I think it's worth repeating. I mean, here the Red Sox scoring 10 runs without a hit by Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz.
They collected 3 walks. But this is a night that belongs to the bottom of the order, and in particular J.D. Drew.
Bottom of the order, and also Dustin Pedroia and Kevin Youkilis.
In the air to left field. How high up the monster? Over halfway. Youkilis will hold at 3rd on a double by David Ortiz. Now Manny Ramirez will bat. You remember the grief that Manny Ramirez got. We're going to have Eric Hinsky pinch run. The home run by Ramirez, which made Game 4 a 4-run game. He actually took less time getting around the bases in Game 4 with that home run than Victor Martinez did in his home run at the top of the 2nd inning against Schilling. And that made it a 4-1 game. So something that was talked about with Manny Ramirez, and Victor Martinez broke down his trot in the 2nd, and that was one of 2 runs scoring tonight against Curt Schilling, and David Ortiz getting congratulations after he gets his first hit of the night. And Manny Ramirez bats 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. And just before Borowski was going to bring it home, time was granted at home plate, and Victor Martinez is out to talk. With that hit, David Ortiz now with a 14-game postseason hitting streak in front of a guy who's just as hot. However, his LCS hitting streak is on the line right now. He has tied Pete Rose for the longest streak in LCS history, 15 games hitless tonight, and that streak is going to come to an end. It is a sac fly for an RBI, a hitless night for Ramirez, and it's 11-2 Red Sox here in the 8th. So 15 straight LCS games, Ramirez had a hit. That is over. And Mike Lowell, who is 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored, steps in. So Lowell will have at least one more game with the Boston Red Sox. He's a free agent to be, and if he leaves, he will leave a gaping hole over at third base for Boston.
He really will.
2-0.
Mike, 33 years old. He turns 34 in February. And I've got to believe that the Red Sox will make every effort to try to sign Mike Lowell. And if they don't, there'll be plenty of teams lined up.
On the inside corner from Borowski. 2-1. It's always good to get the closer an inning of work to try and tune up, but it also gives these Red Sox hitters another look at Borowski. And he's dealing with the heart of this lineup for the Red Sox, hoping to have a save chance tomorrow night. J.D. Drew would be next. 2 out. Runner at second. Hinsky. And a ground ball up the middle. Base hit. Lowell knocks home a run. Hinsky will score without a play. And it's a 10-run Boston lead at 12-2. Second hit of the night for Mike Lowell. And it gives these fans another chance to cheer J.D. Drew. And he loops one into right field. That's a base hit. Third of the night. 2 singles and a grand slam. 5 RBIs for Drew.
Hit number 13 for the Red Sox. A strange way of going after a ball by Trot Nixon. Looked like he may have lost that ball in the lights. How about when J.D. Drew hit the home run? There was an infield hit, and a walk to Ortiz. Then the out by Ramirez and Lowell. So J.D. Drew drove in 3 guys that did not get the ball out of the infield with that grand slam home run.
And Fausto Carmona, the 19-game winner, could only pitch into the 3rd inning. Went 2 innings, allowed 7 runs, all earned, 6 hits, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, a home run allowed. Now with Borowski having a long inning, Masny has to get loose. How about Aaron Laffey? 4 2/3 innings, no runs, 1 hit, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. Veritek 3-0. So this has gone from a tune-up inning to too long of an inning for Borowski. You wonder if he loses Veritek with Ellsbury coming up, if the Indians and Eric Wedge could go get him. That'll load him up. You can read the lips of Carl Willis. One more hitter, and that's it. And that hitter is Jacoby Ellsbury. But this is not what Eric Wedge had in mind when he handed the ball to Borowski here in the 8th.
You may remember that 1996 National League Championship Series when the Atlanta Braves were down 3-1 to the St. Louis Cardinals and came back and outscored the Cardinals 32-1 the last 3 games, and then won that series against the Atlanta Braves.
Ellsbury, a soft liner to short, caught by Peralta. Eric Gagne takes over, top of the 9th inning, and a foul tip catches a lot of Veritek and the home plate umpire. Strike 1. Gagne has been used mainly in blowout, lopsided games in the postseason, with one exception, and that was Game 2 of this ALCS. Gagne came on, started the 11th inning. Good rip by Hafner. In 1/3 of an inning, allowed 2 runs on 1 hit. He left. Javier Lopez didn't retire anybody, allowed 3 runs. And then John Lester allowed a couple, and it was a 13-6 Indian victory. A big addition at the trading deadline for Boston, and to this point it has not worked as planned. 3 players going the other way to Texas, and Hafner still frustrated. He flies to center, and he's hitless tonight. Drew signing a 5-year, $70 million deal. Daisuke, the total price tag $103 million to bring him to the Boston Red Sox. He has not been able to get through 5 innings in his 2 previous postseason starts. Against the Angels and Game 3 against the Indians. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Daisuke gets it tomorrow night, and Jake Westbrook, who was so good in Game 3, went 6 2/3 innings, 2 runs on 7 hits. Strike 2 on Victor Martinez. Makes a young Red Sox fan smile here in the top of the 9th inning of Game 6. Gagne makes the play on 1 hop. Good play. 2 out. The Indians are watching the final touches on their 2-game lead disappear. A date with the Colorado Rockies in the 2007 World Series starting on Wednesday night. Here on Fox will be on the line in Game 7. Ryan Garco takes ball 1. Third baseman Lowell with a barehanded throw. Game 7 tomorrow night.
Joe, the Indians have played 172 games this year. The Red Sox 171. And it boils down to 1 game tomorrow night.
Final score tonight, 12-2. The Red Sox win it behind Curt Schilling, who's 2-0 this postseason. Fausto Carmona suffers the loss. Let's go down to Chris Myers.
All right, thanks, Joe. I'm with Terry Francona. Congratulations. There is a Game 7. You expect a big game out of Curt Schilling. How about where the offense came from tonight?
Yeah, you know, and early in the first inning, Carmona almost pitched out of it. Made good pitches to Manny. Got Mikey Law, and JD came up with a great swing. You know, you don't want to leave runners on like
that, and then it allowed us to kind of play a little bit more relaxed, and we had a great third inning.
And then Kurt Schilling gave you what you needed.
Early on, he was fastball split, and as he got into the game, he used his changeup. He pitched like we needed him to pitch.
I know you just got through Game 6, but Game 7, Dice K will get your start.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and is Josh Beckett out of the bullpen available?
I would think so.
All right, and Ellsbury came up for you tonight. We assume he's in the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, let me have at least 30 seconds to enjoy this, but
okay.
I don't think we'll make many changes.
All right, and I know it was 2004, different year, different team, but America watched, the country watched you come back. Are you feeling this one?
You know what? We get to play tomorrow. I think both teams probably feel it. But then we're no different. We feel good. We get to play Game 7. We'll strap it on, and I'm sure they will too.
All right, we'll look for it. Thanks, Terry. Appreciate it. Congratulations. All right, let's go to Ken Rosenthal. Ken?
We're here with JD, Drew, Chris. JD, 3 for 5.
In Game 7, postseason history, best of 7 series, the Indians